Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. This is a very highly requested episode, so I'm very excited to bring it to you. I love podcast ideas. I love when you send me a message and you're like, hey, I think this might be an idea for an episode. I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. It really helps me to understand what you guys are struggling with, what I can help with. So I love this, but I don't think it's any surprise that I love the Smart Scale, at least not to my clients. I am very vocal about the fact that I really encourage them to get a Smart Scale, especially my one-on-ones. And this has been more so recently on every startup call with a client. I will ask, do you have a Smart Scale? Do you track? I'm asking them all these questions. And I'm always asking, do you have a Smart Scale? If not, highly recommend you get one. The one I use is the RENPHO. It's the cheapest version of the RENPHO on Amazon. I think it's like $20, $30, $40. It's not expensive. Sometimes it's on sale on Amazon, of course. So I'm not sure. Somewhere between $20 and $40. Super cheap when you're thinking about the benefit that this is going to give you. So for myself, it's been very helpful. And I wish that I would have thought about requesting this for my clients sooner. Sometimes I think things just help me and that they're not maybe that important to anyone else. And I had started to have a couple of clients who had a Smart Scale, and I'm like, okay, just either it syncs to my app so I can see it automatically. So whenever they would weigh in, it would tell me their body fat, and I could go in and look at their muscle mass and see their muscle mass increase and their body fat decrease. And whenever I would be able to show my clients these numbers of these different ways to track their progress, they were always so fucking excited. And eventually one day it clicked with me, like, I need to have all of my one-on-ones and I need to just keep talking about this scale because it really, really helps. So a lot of times when one-on-one clients come to work with me, I mean, for all of us, most definitely, but I talk the most in depth, obviously, with my one-on-one clients. It's a very close relationship that a lot of us end up having because we talk so often. And a lot of what my clients struggle with is that mindset of, I'm tracking and I'm walking and I'm moving and I got my steps and I'm, doing the workouts. I'm doing everything and that scale number isn't moving. And when we can look a little deeper and see that, okay, if you want body recomp, you are going to build muscle and you are going to lose fat. And if you do that simultaneously, yeah, the overall number, your body weight may not change at first. But when you look within these little numbers and these little insights on the scale, the Smart Scale, because it tracks so many other things than just your body weight, they can see that they are building muscle and that is in their control. And they love that, right? So it's just been such a game changer. And finally, I'm like, I'm just going to make this kind of standard, like highly request my clients to get one of these scales. And I've never had someone argue with me. They're like, oh, it's only $30. I'll have it in 2 days, Amazon Prime, right? So it's so great. And now that I've created an episode a couple weeks ago about it, I've gotten even more requests like, what do these numbers mean? Please explain this to me. And so we're going to dive into it a little bit today. I am not going to get obviously extremely scientific with these things because honestly, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm certified. I know the things, but I'm not going to give it to you in that sort of a way. And I think I don't like to do that because it confuses me. I'm going to say it to you in a way that I learned it to make it applicable. Someone taught it to me, or I read it somewhere. I've heard it on a podcast, right? Like however I learned these things, it was very helpful for me. And I have this gift of being able to take something, take the science, take the reality, take the rules and the layout of something, right? A program, and make it applicable to myself. I have to put it in wording that makes sense, analogies, or whatever that means, right? If someone were to say, this is a scale and these are the things that it tracks very scientifically, X, Y, and Z, that's helpful. That's also boring. I'm going to zone out. I'm not going to be paying attention. I want to know the basics of what this thing does and what that means to me? How does that affect me? Right. And that's, I think, my gift as far as things go. Like, I can tell you what to do in your health and fitness journey. I can say, you have to start getting up at 5 a.m. Like, you have to start doing your workouts at 5 a.m. Scientifically, it's the best time of day for you to do your workout. It burns more I can say all this bullshit, which is not true, by the way. It doesn't burn more anything. But I can say, right, you're going to be more productive. It's going to burn more calories. It's going to give you more daylight. I don't know, like all this shit. But at the end of the day, well, at the beginning of the day, when my alarm goes off, I'm not going to care about any of that stuff to get my ass up at 5 a.m. What I do care about is like, okay, I am going to be a better parent because I got my workout done. I'm going to actually have more time in the day because I'm not going to be stressed out about my workout. Now it's getting hot. I live in Michigan and it's finally getting hot here. So I did a workout yesterday in the afternoon in the garage and sweated my ass off. And I hate that because then I have somewhere to go and I'm sweaty and gross. So I'm like, I have all these actual tactical reasons that mean something to me that will now drive my ass to get up earlier. So I need this to be very simple. I'm going to cut the BS. That's part of this podcast. And so that's what I'm going to do with this scale. I'm going to give it to you in a very practical sense so you can really dive into these numbers, but more importantly, just glance at them and be like, okay, this is moving in the right direction. Love that for me. I'm getting healthy and fit. I'm a badass, and move on with your day. So there are quite a few things that this scale does, and I'm just going to dive right in. So I am personally going off of the metrics that the RENPHO scale calculates or gathers or measures. Okay. So there are other smart scales out there. Obviously, if you type in smart scale on Amazon or Google search, whatever, you're going to get a ton of them. I don't know many of the other ones because most of my clients get the smart scale. I do have other clients that have some. They send me a screenshot and they're very nicely done. I have other clients that have sent me screenshots and I'm like, I can't read that. I don't even know what that means. Those percentages, the graphic, I don't know. And if I don't know, I'm just like, throw that out the window or return it and get another one that makes sense. So I'm going to be talking about the RENPHO scale and the information that gives me. So I jump on the scale. It, takes a second. It syncs it with my phone. I have my app open and it, makes this little chime noise and it gives me my weight. And then underneath, because I'm in athlete mode, it gives me, and you can put athlete mode on, you can make that a setting. I think it says if you work out 3 days a week or I don't remember how many hours a week. I'm so sorry. But you can look in the settings and it says basically if you move at a normal amount that a normal human should move, you should be in athlete range. And what that does is it gives you more of these metrics. It will calculate more of these metrics. So for example, my son, we went to create an account for my son the other day on my RENPHO. You can add yourself and then you can add other users. He's not 18, so I was unable to add him as athlete mode. Yes, I could have lied and said that, but I didn't. And so it didn't kick out as many of these metrics as it does for me. So set yourself in athlete mode. And if you don't think you qualify as athlete mode, start moving your ass more so that you qualify for athlete mode. Okay, let's dive in. Body weight. It's so much more than just that number, right? When we get on the scale and we're like, oh, my weight stayed the same. My weight went up. My weight went down. We give it so much value. And it's really not. It is, but it's really not. It shouldn't give value to your worth and other things. So we're just going to start with body weight, right? Stepping onto the scale is going to give you an accurate reading of your weight. With the RENPHO scale, I have found that it's quite accurate for my weight. Smart scales are not 100% accurate, but it's pretty damn accurate. I've been weighing myself and doing this for a long time. So it's going to give you an accurate reading of your weight, but it is just a number. It measures everything from head to toe on your body, inside your body, right? It's everything. So this number is important, but it is broken down into all of these other numbers. So, and also your weight should vary throughout your life. You're not supposed to be one weight from the time that you're 15 to the time that you're 70, right? So your age, height, weight, activity level does determine how healthy and what range you should be as far as your weight. Next, your BMI. It measures your BMI, which is your body mass index. This is based on your weight and your height and it's measuring whether or not you fall within a healthy weight range. On the RENPHO, there is an underweight category, a normal category, an overweight category, and an obesity category. So your BMI will fall into one of those 4 ranges. Age is a significant factor that does affect BMI. BMI increases with age, and it actually declines after you reach the age of 60. Between 40 and 60 years is where you are most likely to be obese. That's when you are more susceptible to obesity, is ages 40 to 60. So if you are in that age range, we need to be extra careful, right? Essentially, your BMI does determine whether or not you are at a healthy weight. It will let you know if you're underweight. It will let you know if you're overweight. And ultimately, this is just another tool, another metric to look at on this scale, so you know what age range you're in. It can be kind of alarming if you get on there and you're like, oh my God, I thought I was doing pretty well. And this is saying that my BMI is, it's putting me in the overweight category or it's putting me in the obesity category. Well, then just get to work. Like, it is what it is. It's not the end all be all. It doesn't mean that you are obese. It doesn't mean that you are super unhealthy, but it is a metric and it does matter. Just like the scale, it all matters and it all affects your body and your organs, and everything works together. So that's the whole point, is for this to be kind of alarming in the sense that, like, oh, I thought I was doing X, Y, and Z and I could do better. Next, your body fat percentage. These smart scales measure your body fat percentage, so you get insights on your overall body composition. I love this. When I was able to see this insight in particular, I was so proud of myself. My body fat right now is 17.7. That's an athlete range for my body. I feel like that, I don't know, for me, I'm like 17. I feel like I should be a little less than that. But anyways, it doesn't matter because it's in the athlete range. It's in a good range. But for me, I'm like, we could kind of work on that, right? So all of these are just numbers that you're like, I can kind of work on. But this metric, the body fat percentage, is important because excess body fat can increase the risk of many conditions like obesity, like diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. So this is important. It's not just funny to say like, oh, I'm in the obese category or I'm in the overweight category. Like, it's not something that I find funny when people are kind of joke around about it. It's very serious because it does affect your overall health. For me, I'm like, yes, I'm in a healthy range. I'm good. Could I improve on it? Yes, that's just always going to be me, right? Like, could I improve on it? Yeah, probably. There are times in my life where no, technically I probably can't. I'm too tired, stressed, busy, whatever. But it is something that I look at and I'm like, can I inch that down a little bit? That would be awesome, right? So it does help you to be able to set goals. So for me, if I don't have a goal of necessarily changing my overall weight, well, then I can work on decreasing my body fat percentage for health reasons. I think that that's super important. Next, let's talk about the fat-free body weight. It literally says fat-free body weight on my RENPHO scale. This is the weight of your body excluding the fat. So if you take your entire body, you were to scrape all the fat off of it, you're still left with water, organs, bones, and muscle content, like things that make up the muscle. So this metric can help you understand your body composition beyond the fat, which is great as well. Yes. Okay. Let's say you look at your body or your body fat percentage and you're like, not as great as I thought, but let's move on, right? And see what these other numbers mean and see what we can improve on that. So your fat-free body weight is important because it looks at everything else. A lot of times when we get on the scale, we're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, or I'm so big, or I'm not making any progress. And you are. It's not just about your fat. So we have to kind of strip that and look at what else, right? Did I have carbs that are holding on to water? Did I literally just drink more water, right? So am I building muscle? Because that adds weight. So this is a very healthy thing to look at as well. I think kind of looking at minus the fat, this is what else I can kind of work on, or these numbers are great. And so I just need to maybe work on losing a little fat. Like, that's good too. Speaking of fat, there are a couple of different kinds of that. We have subcutaneous fat. This is the kind of fat that lies just under the skin. This is the kind we can see. It's mainly around like your abdomen, your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your butt, Ladies, not exactly what we want to hear, right? But this is the truth of it all. So sometimes kind of laying it out there is like, oh, this is the reality of the situation. Too much of this fat can cause serious health issues. Subcutaneous fat is linked with diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. So it's very serious. It's not just my clothes aren't fitting right. It's not just I'm getting a little, love handle here. And yeah, that's fine in some senses to gain a little bit. But when you get out of that range, my RENPHO scale has a low range, a standard range, and a high range for subcutaneous fat. And you do want to be in that low range because that gives you a low likelihood of having serious diseases like diabetes, like stroke, and like heart disease. So that's really encouraging to know that when I look at mine, I have a very low likelihood, a very low chance of developing those diseases because of this anyway. So having your eyes on the subcutaneous fat, it really does help because you can see the choices that you're making. Every single choice adds up. Every single, snack, every single time that you don't go for a walk, every single time you skip a workout, it could be adding to your chances of getting diabetes, stroke, and heart disease. Sometimes I think of that, like this walk that I'm taking could potentially deter X, Y, and Z, right? And I love that. So that mentality has really, really helped me. And then the next kind of fat that's on my smart scale is the visceral fat. This is more of the hidden fat. So unlike your subcutaneous fat, which you can see because it's right there, right underneath the skin, your visceral fat is hiding. It's deep in your abdomen area. It is surrounding your vital organs, which is very helpful, but excessive amounts of it can increase the conditions of obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease. So visceral fat is linked to those serious health conditions. So again, not a whole lot to kind of fight this off. Visceral fat has been said and shown that 30 minutes a day is all it takes to improve on visceral fat, which is amazing. When you think of 30 minutes a day, that's a 30-minute walk, right? That's a 30-minute jog. That's a 30-minute little bike ride. And you break it up. It's 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning, you go for a walk, 10 minutes at lunch, you go for a walk, 10 minutes in the evening. It's not that hard, right? Also eating healthy, choosing whole foods, better options, lean proteins, fruits and veggies. Of course, those things help specifically with visceral fat and your overall health. Moving on to body water, this one really confused me. I was like, why do I care about my body water percentage? I think this is weird, but hydrated equals healthy. I have come to learn, obviously, our body is made mostly of water. So why would I look at that and think, why does that matter? Why would I think it doesn't matter? Water is vital for our bodies to function properly. So this number, of course, reflects the amount of water that you have present in your body at the time that you get on the scale. Staying hydrated is absolutely important for optimal health. And this metric helps you to check your hydration levels, make sure you're not dehydrated. So if you're getting headaches a lot, if you're feeling super tired, if you're going in the sun and you're getting super dizzy, that happens to me a lot. You can jump on there and notice you're dehydrated and chug some water. So when you're like, I have a hard time hitting my water goal, this is really annoying, I don't like water, shut up, grab your cup and drink it because it's very important for your health, period. Okay, moving on to skeletal muscle. I loved learning about this because I honestly had no idea really what this is, but it's just so interesting to me that beyond the water and the workouts and the walking and the macros that I always talk about, this stuff is so cool. It's so important. And this is it's just so cool to me. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I love muscles. Muscles are our body's power. Muscles support our movement. They are obviously our overall strength. So skeletal muscle is connected to our bones. No kidding. It says skeletal muscle. So it's connected to our bones and limbs, and it helps with mobility and daily functions, such as the littlest things like your body posture, sitting up straight, right? Little movements like right now I'm standing up and I'm moving my arms around. I don't know why I do that. I'm a hand talker. it's helping with that. It's helping with little things that we do, chewing our food and swallowing our food, and our eyelids blinking all day long without us even noticing. So there's little things that we need these tiny little skeletal muscles to do that we don't even think about. So it takes so much muscle to do the things in our body, which is why I love having muscle. I love building muscle. Muscle is so important for overall health. In addition to that, in a little bit, we're going to get into the amount of protein you need to be consuming to support that amount of muscle. But skeletal muscle is super cool. When I looked at that number for myself, skeletal muscle on the RENPHO is divided into low, standard, and high. I'm at standard right now. I'm just short of high. So I think I need to work on that. So there's a little eye opener for me. But when I learned about that, I thought that was super cool. And I remember reading it as well when I don't remember which certification I was getting when I learned about this, but I thought as I age, this is so important. And as I bring on women that are older, this is also very, very important. So it's important to be fueling your body enough to build skeletal muscle. And it's important to be doing these little tiny movements, not just your big lifts. We want to be doing these combination movements. This is why I will oftentimes go kind of against the grain and do a squat with a bicep curl, or a squat with a calf raise, or an upper and a lower body movement or something together, because I want you to be building these little tiny muscle fibers as well as these big muscle fibers in your body. I won't talk too much about that right now, but it's a passion of mine, obviously. But moving on to general muscle mass. So muscle mass is obviously the total weight of the muscles in your body, including the skeletal muscle, including the smooth muscle, and including the cardiac muscle in your body, all muscle. Increased muscle mass helps you burn more calories. I've talked about this to my clients and in other episodes, but having more muscle mass on your body helps you burn more calories all day long throughout the day. The more muscle you have on your body, the harder your body has to work to be able to maintain that muscle. That's amazing. And also, obviously, it makes you stronger to be able to lift heavy things and move heavy things and bend, right? And do all of these cool things that strong people can do. So on the other hand, opposite of building muscle, the loss of muscle mass can cause balance issues and strength issues, otherwise known as we age, you hear a lot of people, unfortunately, going into nursing homes or having surgeries because their balance was off and they fell, or because they were too weak to do the smallest little things. And yes, that's normal. But also, if you start working right now on building your muscle mass and all of these and improving all of these other things I talked about, you could be the baddest version of yourself when you're 80 years old, right? You don't have to age and fall. You don't have to age and lose your muscle mass. You don't have to age and have your balance deteriorate. You can go against the grain and kind of work on these things that are so important. Are you just loving this scale so far? Because I could just talk about this stuff all day. Okay, moving on to bone mass. Essentially, the numbers, the metrics that you're going to see for bone mass on a scale tells you how healthy and strong our bones are. Your bones are the framework, obviously, that support your body. Pretty damn important when you think about it, right? I remember looking at this and I'm like, why? I remember getting my scale and just thinking like, protein, bone mass, like what the hell? But it's crazy to me that we don't know this stuff. And also, why would I not think about how strong and healthy my bones are? And how would I not put together that like that's also my responsibility? Anyways, again, bones are the framework of your body. So very important when you really think of it like that, right? The bone mass does refer to get technical on you, the amount of minerals, which are like calcium, phosphorus, that do make up certain amounts of your bones. So again, this number, and it's broken up into below average, average, and above average as far as categories on my app. And that tells you how healthy and strong your bones are. So this scale will evaluate your bone mass, and it gives you information so that you can say, I'm below average, I should really start eating better and really start focusing on my bone health and maybe getting some supplements and really pay attention because I don't want my bones to break. I want them to be healthy in the chance that I do fall and the chance that something happens bones are going to break. I realize we can't help all of that. But if I can do something to obviously protect against that, right, then I want to do that. So keeping track of your bone mass on here is important. I mean, this can affect issues like osteoporosis, again, as you age. And it does, I think these numbers really do just help me. And I hope they help you to want to take a proactive approach instead of a reactive approach. I think in health and fitness, that's very important in general. And I won't dive into that. But if you can look at these numbers and really hone in, and again, realize that every decision and choice that you make in regards to your food and your movement matters for more than just your overall weight and for more than just how you look and fit into your clothes. Like, it's so important. So moving on to protein, which I freaking love. Protein is, like I said, the fuel for your muscles. Protein is actually the building blocks of our bodies. I used to be obsessed with protein, still am. I don't talk about it as much. I've found other things to be obsessed with. People are probably thankful for that. But protein is responsible for so many functions in our body, such as growing muscle. Like I said, it is also important for bone growth and health. It's important for repairing muscles and bones, and it's important for our immune system. So this scale does help you make sure you are getting adequate amounts of protein. So I'm going to click on mine. Mine does say adequate. So the ranges are low, standard, and adequate, but I'm at the kind of the lower end of adequate. So I need to up that as well. So this is very eye-opening for me. But this is a simple way to see if you need to consume more protein. When my clients get this scale and I'm like, okay, jump on the scale, send me a screenshot. Almost always we need to improve protein. And that's not anything against the person. I'm just like, I can tell right now you are low or at the low end of standard in your protein intake and you need to up that. So this is a very quick way for you to see, oh my God, I need to be getting more protein for my muscles, for my bones, for fat loss. It's so important. Moving on, because I could talk about protein for the entire episode. BMR, this is essentially the calorie burning machine of your body. Your basal metabolic rate refers to the number of calories your body burns at rest. So it is the amount of calories that your body burns when you're not really doing anything. If you were at rest all day, your body would still be burning a certain amount of calories just to maintain. And that, again, has to do with the health of your bones. It has to do with someone with more muscle who's laying around all day versus someone with less muscle that's laying around all day. The person with more muscle is going to burn more calories. So knowing your BMR is so important because, again, this is the basis of your calorie burn. And so if you want to gain weight, if you want to lose weight, if you want to, live at maintenance, this can help you figure out how many calories you need from your daily meals to just meet your energy needs, to just function. A lot of you, if you look at your BMR, mine is 1391. It's in the slightly above average range. If you look at your BMR and if you are consuming less calories than what your BMR says daily, you are not even giving your body enough fuel to function. So it is likely that it is storing fat to use as fuel to function. You need to at least, and that's just if you're laying around all day, you need to be at least consuming the amount of calories of your BMR. And then we have to take into consideration the fact that you probably go to work and you probably work out a little bit, hopefully, and you probably go for some walks and you probably walk around your kitchen while you're making dinner and you probably go chase your kids around for a while, right? You are doing more movement. So that is a very good indicator of your body's needs. Understanding your BMR can help you to understand literally your body and the kind of energy that you need to be intaking. And lastly, I'm sorry, this episode's maybe getting a little long. I wasn't keeping track. Your metabolic age. This is pretty cool too. So your metabolic age tells you how well your body is functioning in comparison to your average BMR for someone your age. Mine is spot on. I actually turn 43 the end of May. And right now my metabolic age is 42. So we'll see if I can keep it at 42. But basically, if your metabolic age on the Smart Scale matches your actual age, like I said, mine does, it means that my metabolism is similar to others in my actual chronological age range. If you have a metabolic age that's lower than your actual age, then that is even better because that means you have better health than, I guess, most people that are your age. So this takes into account factors such as your body composition, your weight, and your activity levels. So that number is comprised of those types of things because the scale calculates all of that. So a couple notes on all of that. I tried to kind of go quickly and break it down and give it to you in a way that's very digestible. So I hope that I did that. If you don't have a RENPHO, the numbers should be very similar and the categories should be very similar on the Smart Scale app that you have. If you have a Smart Scale that sounds nothing like this, if you have a Smart Scale that when you open the app and you have no idea what it means after you weigh yourself and you look at it, if you can't read it, get another Smart Scale. Sell that one, throw it away, bust it. I don't care. Get another one because what purpose is it serving you to look at an app that you have no idea what any of that means, right? Like I said, I got mine on Amazon. I'm sure there's a shit ton of other ones on Amazon. There are screenshots and visuals of the app before you buy it. So go in, click on the items, scroll through. I want to make sure that you can see the app, you see the visuals, it shows you a little breakdown. It should be easy to read. This is not hard. And actually on mine, let's see if I go in here and I click on muscle mass. It says low, normal, and high range. And then it says the total muscle weight, including skeletal muscle, cardiac, and smooth muscle. So it gives you a little basic breakdown of what it's calculating. So this should be so easy, guys. This should not be hard. I'm not going to tell you to buy anything that's hard to read. I'll just guarantee you that. This is not 100% accurate, but I do find the RENPHO, and I can only speak for the RENPHO, it's the only one I've ever had, to be quite accurate. And a lot of my clients do too. A lot of my clients have had other ones and they're like, I've gotten, a scale done at a scan done at my gym and it didn't relate at all to my Smart Scale. Like they were not anywhere near the same. When I got the RENPHO, it did match the one that I got at the gym, the scan that I got at the gym. So it's quite accurate, I'm finding over time. A lot of times a Smart Scale will improve your relationship with the scale. And that is, I think, my main reason. Yeah, I love all of these numbers, but for me, it helped me to be able to get on the scale and look at all these numbers and be like, I did grow more muscle. I did lose a little fat, right? The work that I'm doing is paying off. So I think that is so important. It helps you to focus on progress and it helps you to focus on health and longevity rather than just your overall number, because ultimately that shouldn't hold a lot of value as far as mentally and emotionally, right? Notice that your movement and your fuel are so important, so much more important than just your physical appearance. I want you to notice that everything that I said there is in your control. Every one of those numbers and those metrics you can control by the food you're eating, the walks you're taking, right? The extra movement you're doing, your workouts, the muscle you're building. This is in your control. Will the numbers move quickly? Hell no. They're going to move so slow. But are they going to move? Absolutely. So these scales should encourage you to make lifestyle adjustments to improve your body as you age. This scale, sure, the overall number could be frustrating at times, 100%. But overall, I hope that this scale gives you confidence, and I hope it gives you the control that you deserve to have in your fitness journey. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope I did a good job. I know this is a very highly, like I said, requested episode, and I just want to be able to give you the information in a way that you can understand and digest. So I hope that I did just that. Let me know if you loved it. I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.